Make sure that I'm actually live. Am I live? And am I heard? Okay. Yep. So, welcome to another study, another Bible study. Praise YAH. Um, I pray that everyone who is searching for Yah finds exactly what they are looking for, and I hope those who are not searching for Yah turn from their sinful ways. All right. So, I want to talk about why Yah tests us. This thing is going in and out and in and out. Ugh. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Now, I know a lot of people wonder why there's so much evil going on in the world and God, the creator, does nothing, absolutely nothing about it, it seems, right? But that's not true. Um, I know sometimes people don't like going in the Bible because they feel like they can't really understand it and it sounds almost nonsensical to someone who can't understand, right? But when you're seeking, you will find. So the Most High has been testing us since the beginning of time. Since Adam and Eve, the Most High has been testing us. When the Most High serpent was in the garden, that was a test. The Most High even tested Abraham to see how faithful he was. Let's go to Genesis. Hold on a second. Did I write that one down? Mm. Okay. Well, let's just go to Genesis chapter 22, I believe. And let's read Genesis chapter 22. So in verse 1 of Genesis chapter 22, it says, "And it came to pass after these things that Elohim did tempt Abraham." He tested Abraham, right? "And said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and get you into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell you of." Verse 3, "And Abraham rose up early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went unto the place of which Elohim had told him. Then on the third day Abraham lifted up his eyes, and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you. Verse 6. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon. Hold on one second. Okay. Make sure that I'm still. Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. There we go. Let me go back to Genesis chapter 22. All right. So I'm on verse 6. I'm going to go back to verse 6. Okay, so, and Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold the fire and the wood, but there is the lamb for a burnt. Where is the lamb for a burnt offering? Right? And Abraham said, My son. This is how faithful even Isaac was, his son. Right? This is how faithful to the Creator they were. My son, Elohim will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. Verse 9, and they came to the place which Elohim had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of Yah called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. Verse 12. And he said, Lay not your hand upon the lad, neither do you anything unto him, for now I know that you fear Yah. You fear the Creator, seeing you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, or Yahweh, right? It is a place for Yah, right? Not any Jehovah. Forgive me, Yah. So as it is said to this day, in the mount shall be seen. Verse 15. And the angel of Yah called unto Abraham out of the heaven the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn with Yah, for because you have done this thing, and have not withheld your son, your only son, that in blessing I bless you, and in multiplying I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and your seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And in your seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. And it came to pass after these things, that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she has also borne children unto my brother Nahor. Verse 21. Huz, his firstborn, and Buz, his brother, and Kemuel, the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Jidlaph, and Bethuel. And Bethuel begat Rebekah, and these 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his concubine, whose name was Ramah. She bare also Teba, and Gaham, and Tahash, and Maacah. Now, people say that this God is cruel. They say this God is cruel, but this God never required your firstborn child. You see, that was just a test. He didn't actually require that. But yet you have Christianity, the New Testament, which tells you that God gave his only begotten son to death, sacrifice, human sacrifice. But they don't call that God cruel. But the Most High, the real Creator, doesn't require that. And the real Creator tests us. And the Most High has been testing us since the beginning. So let's go to Job chapter 23. Job chapter 23. And let's go down to verse 10 or verse 9. Let's start at verse 9. Let's start at verse 8. So behold, I go forward, but he is not there, and backward, but I cannot perceive him. On the left hand, where he does work, but I cannot behold him. He hides himself on the right hand, that I cannot see him. But he knows the way that I take. When he has tried me, I shall come forth as gold. Right? You know, before we go any further, because here you can see Satan is the one trying Job, right? Because it says so in Job in the very first chapter. In the second chapter, it talks about Satan trying Job with Yah's permission, with the Creator's permission. The Most High tests us a lot. And the Most High doesn't just test by himself. The Most High tests with other entities. Satan is another entity, right? And so in verse 9, you can see where it says on the left hand, where he does work, but I cannot behold him. He hides himself on the right hand. Yeah, let's go to Zechariah verse 3 or chapter 3. Zechariah chapter 3 and verse 1. We see it says, and he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of Yah, and Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. Right? He stands at the right hand. He hides himself at the right hand. This is a trait of Satan, right? This is what Satan does. He hides himself at the right hand. Let's go to Job. Let's just go to the beginning of Job, chapter 1. You know what? Before we do that, let's go to First Chronicles, chapter 21. Okay. And let's see the very first verse where it says, and Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. So Satan is obviously a tester. The Most High is a tester, right? Life is a test. It's a big test. Okay, now let's go to Job 1, chapter 1. All right, Job chapter 1. It reads, there was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared Elohim and eschewed evil. He hated evil, and there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels, and the 500 yoke of oxen, and the 500 she asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned, and cursed Elohim in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. So this is a ritual that he practiced for his children, his family, right? Just in case they sin. He would do these things for the Creator. Verse 6, now there was a day when the sons of Elohim came to present themselves before Yah, and Satan came also among them. So they're coming to present themselves. They're coming to complete a task. The Most High is going to send them on a task, on a mission. These other entities. Satan happens to be one of those entities, right? And Yah said unto Satan, whence comest you? Then Satan answered the Creator and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And Yah said unto Satan, have you considered my servant Job? The Most High asked Satan this. And so that tells me, because I don't know any human that can go to and fro, walking up and down the earth. I don't know of a human that can do that. That sounds like another entity, right? And so obviously that's what this is. And he couldn't find anyone that wasn't already corrupt. He's walking all around the earth. He couldn't find anyone who wasn't corrupt. He's looking for somebody to test, and he couldn't find anyone. And Yah said unto Satan, have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that fears Elohim and hates evil? Then Satan answered Yah and said, does Job fear Elohim for nothing? Have you not made a hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth your hand now, and touch all that he has, and he will curse you to your face. Lies. Lies. Because there are people who have faith till death. I'm a witness. Even when their life is on the line, they still trust in Yah. They still trust in the Creator. There are people out there that exist like that. I'm one of them. Praise Yah. Okay? And that's how we all have to be. Because it's a till death do us apart contract with the Creator. So let's go to um, let's go to Proverbs 17. Let's go to Proverbs 17. Okay. So in Proverbs 17, it says, "The fining pot is for silver, and the furnace for gold, but Yah tries the hearts." They're letting you know. The Most High is letting you know. The Most High tests you, tests your heart. That's what God does. The Creator tests your heart. It's not about what you see, it's about what you do, even when no one is watching. Let me point something out real quick. Let's go to Psalm 94. Let's go to Psalm 94. All right. So let's start in verse 1. It says, "O Yah Elohim, to whom vengeance belongs. O Elohim, to whom vengeance belongs. Show yourself. Lift up yourself, you judge of the earth. Render a reward to the proud. Yah, how long shall the wicked triumph? How long shall they utter and speak hard things? And all the workers of iniquity boast themselves. They break in pieces your people, O Yah, and afflict your heritage. They slay the widow and the stranger, and murder the fatherless. Yet they say, Yah, they say, God shall not see, neither shall the God of Jacob regard it." God shall not see. Folks really think that God is not watching. The one who created us all and everything in the earth is not watching. Why would you think that? You didn't create yourself. But I don't want to go into a whole nother topic. Let's go to Zechariah 13. Let's go to Zechariah 13. Okay, so Zechariah 13 and verse 1, it says, "In that day there shall be a fountain open to the house of David, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem for sin and for uncleanness. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yah of hosts, that I will cut off the names of the idols out of the land, and they shall no more be remembered. And also I will cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to pass out of the land. And it shall come to pass that when they shall yet prophesy, then his father and his mother that begat him shall say unto him, You shall not live, for you speak lies in the name of Yah. And his father and his mother that begat him shall thrust him through when he prophesieth. And it shall come to pass in that day that the prophets shall be ashamed, every one of his vision, when he has prophesied, neither shall they wear a rough garment to deceive. But he shall say, I am no prophet, I am a husbandman, for man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. And one shall say unto him, What are these wounds in your hands? Then he shall answer, Those with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. Right? Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, saith Yah of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn my hand upon the little ones. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith Yah, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, It is my people, and they shall say, Yah is my Elohim. So the Most High, the Creator, is coming back. The Most High told you what the Most High is doing. The Most High is refining the third part. Before the Most High returns. Did you hear what all of the trials and tribulations that the third part was going to go through? Just in verse 9? It says, And I will bring the third part through the fire. Fire burns, right? And will refine them as silver is refined. Through the fire. Through the fire, right? Refine them as silver is refined. And will try them as gold is tried. And the third part will be tried. Tested, always tested. Everyone is against the third part. Everyone who wants to do wicked. That's not news. It's always been that way. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, It is my people, and they shall say, Yah is my Elohim. We live in such a wicked time. Um, let's go to Psalm 109. Psalm 109. Okay. Psalm 109, verse 1. It says, Hold not your peace, O Elohim of my praise, for the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are opened against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. They compassed me or compassed me about also with words of hatred and fought against me without cause. For my love, they are my adversaries, but I give myself unto prayer, and they have rewarded me evil for good and hatred for my love. Is that not the way of the world right now? Is that not the way of the world? They have rewarded me evil for my good and hatred for my love. That is the way of the world. Because it's not seen as something good to be loving most of the time. No, you gotta always have your guard up and your defenses up. Oh, yeah, or you're weak. Instead of just taking care of what the problem is, we just want to ignore it. Just put your guard up. Don't be a pushover. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't be a pushover for being kind, for being loving. That's not the individual who's showing love's fault. That's the wicked's fault. And the wicked should be punished for that. Because that's why there's no peace on earth. No, it's not a weakness to be kind. It's not a weakness to be caring and loving. That's not a weakness. The weakness is the virus in the earth called wickedness. That's the weakness. That's what's ruining the earth. That's why the earth is dying. That's why there's so many wicked rulers, because that's what the people want majority of the time. And that is why the world is so wicked. It's not the Most High's fault. It's not the Creator's fault. It's our fault. And you can't say that's not true, because you can't point to me where we're not the ones harming each other. When you see catastrophic events taking place, that's really seen as merciful, considering all the wicked that's done in every nation. So we give in to sin, and then we want to curse the Creator. We give in to the test. We fail the test because the Creator tests us, right? The Most High uses other entities to test us. And because we can't pass the test, we want to blame the Creator instead of studying for the test and maybe seeing what should we do to pass the test. Isn't that what you do with any test? You study. So let's go to, because we know that Satan is a tester, right? Um, Let me just read the 6th verse of Psalms 109 real quick, since I just read the 5th verse. And it says in the 6th verse, "Set you a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand." Who is this always standing at the right hand? This is Satan, right? He's standing at the right hand, waiting to test you. And it's just so easy for Satan. You know, I can only imagine it gets tiring because there's really no one that Satan can find to test. Hmm. So, what does that mean? That means that most of the world is wicked. There's no need to test you when you're already doing everything under the sun, right? There's no reason to test us when we are doing everything under the sun already. Because you've already failed. We're not worshiping the one and true and only creator, because if we were, we would see the results of that in the earth. The Most High is the creator of the earth, and the only way that you're going to fix it is if you turn back to the one who created it, right? You can't fix the world with man. Man has shown you time and time again that he's going to start wars and cause pollution and do all these wicked things, enslave and all of these things. And yet we're still voting and worshiping man and hoping that man, we need a king to save us. We need a man to save us. We always need a man because God doesn't see us. Where as if you just like changed your ways and started trying to do the right thing, you would instantly see results all over the earth. Instantly. If everybody on the earth, corporations, everyone, just decided, you know what? I'm not gonna do that today. Not today, Satan. Not today, Satan. The world would change instantly. Right? But we give in every single time. That's the weakness. You see how that's weak? Now let's go to and let me also say, I want to point something out. So, um the Most High is the tester um for life and growth, right? Satan is a tester to destroy, right? That's the difference that we're looking at. That Satan is doing things to destroy. Satan is the destroyer. Satan is the destroyer in Exodus 12. Let's go to Exodus 12. Satan is the destroyer. In Exodus 12, verse 23. So it says, "For Yah will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he sees the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, Yah will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your house to smite you." Right? The Most High will not allow the destroyer to come into your house and kill you, just like the Most High allowed the destroyer to take everything that Job had, but not Job's life. He allowed the destroyer to do that, right? He destroyed all that he had. Let's go to Jeremiah 4. And let's Start at verse 1. It says, If you will return, O Israel, saith Yah, return unto me, and if you will put away your abominations out of my sight, then shall you not remove, and you shall swear, Yah liveth, in truth, in judgment, and in righteousness, and the nations shall bless themselves in him, and in him shall they glory. See, the Most High just told you, the nations, the Gentiles, shall bless themselves of him, and in him shall they glory. Because now they have the Most High and not Satan, right? Verse 3, For thus saith Yah to the men of Judah and Jerusalem, break up your fallow ground and sow not among thorns. Circumcise yourselves to Yah, and take away the foreskins of your heart, ye men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem, lest my fury come forth like fire, and burn that none can quench it, because of the evil of your doing. See, the Most High wants us to stop being evil, Israel. The Most High wants us to stop doing wicked before the sight of the Creator. Verse 5 says, Declare ye in Judah, and publish in Jerusalem, and say, Blow ye the trumpet in the land, cry, gather together, and say, Assemble yourselves, and let us go into the defenced cities. Verse 6, Set up the standard toward Zion, retire not, or retire, stay not, for I will bring evil from the north and a great destruction. The lion is come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. That's Satan. Do y'all understand that? The destroyer of the Gentiles, the destroyer of the nations. That is Satan. He is the destroyer, just like the destroyer the Most High mentioned in Exodus 12 and 23. That's another entity. That's not a man. That's Satan. And he's the destroyer of nations. And Satan can provoke man. He can't possess you. He didn't possess King David. He provoked him. That means he moved him to do something. Agitating him, messing with him, right? It bothered him. But it never said took over his body. Possession isn't real, people. Drugs are real. But Satan is provoking you, bringing out what's already in your heart to do what you want to do. So we can't blame Satan, right? When we get destroyed. Because you invited the destroyer into your life. That's what you wanted. Every time you go out and you want to be wicked, you're inviting the destroyer into your life. And so, yes, the destroyer is testing you, and so is the creator. The creator and the destroyer, right? But the Almighty can do all of the above. That's one thing Satan can't do. Satan cannot create. But Satan can destroy. And so can man. Man can destroy things too. So can animals. And this is why we should fear the Creator. This is why we should not disregard the Creator and ignore and say, oh, the Most High is not watching. The Most High doesn't see. The Most High is watching everything. The Most High sees all things. And so, why is the Most High bringing us through all of this, right? Why is the Most High doing all of this? Yes, the Most High is refining us, right? The Most High is making us like pure silver and pure gold, testing our hearts to see which way we will go. Imagine if you had like a huge aquarium. This is the best analogy I can give. You have a huge aquarium full of fish, and you see that most of the fish in the aquarium like to harm each other and destroy each other and do all these evil things, right? They like doing all these evil things. You're not doing anything about it, you're just kind of watching them, right? And then you have uh, some other fish, a few other fish that decide they don't want to be a part of that, and they go in the opposite direction. Or they started out a part of it and then they decided to move on and do better things. And they try to stay away from the wickedness of the other fish. These fish over here killing each other and dying and robbing each other and plotting on each other and scheming, all types of wickedness they doing. And then you just have these other fish just watching this. But they're outnumbered by the wicked fish. So all they do is watch. Once all of the wicked fish have died off, right? Once all the wicked fish have died off, you would only want the remnant that's left, the peaceful ones that didn't do all of that and wreak havoc, right? That's what you would want to keep. So you would make sure that they stayed out of harm's way while they were in the tank with those other fish, right? You made sure that they had their own place to go. So they didn't have to be around the fish that were just out of control, right? But then you want to call the Most High wicked when the Most High kills you. But look at what the wickedness that's being committed on the earth, or the wickedness that's happening all over. And yes, the righteous die too. The righteous die too. We all die. But there's just something about the wicked that stands out like a sore thumb. But those other fish, the ones that tried to stay out of harm's way and mind their business and do the right thing, were witnesses to all of the things around them. They know that's not how they want to live. Go to Isaiah 43. Isaiah 43 and verse 9 says, "Let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled. Who among them can declare this and show us former things? Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified, or let them hear and say, It is truth. Ye are my witnesses, saith Yah, and my servant whom I have chosen, that you may know and believe me, and understand that I am he. Before me there was no Elohim formed, neither shall there be after me. I, even I, am Yah, and beside me there is no Savior. I have declared and saved, and I have showed when there was no strange God among you. Therefore you are my witnesses, saith Yah, that I am Elohim." So you know for a fact that it was the Creator that kept you, that blessed you, that saved you, that hid you. All of these things, the Most High wants us to know that in the end. Because remember, it's all a test. And we are witnesses to this fact. We are witnesses. So when these horrible things happen, when these wicked things happen, we understand exactly why. So that is all I wanted to bring to the study today. Praise Yah. Um, I will come back with another video pretty soon, and I pray that you got something out of this. Praise Yah. Hallelujah. Shalom.